Good to see you from wherever you're watching us tonight. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Thanks for joining us on the Tuesday edition of the show. It is the first one for the week, and we promise to make it worth your while. On the show tonight, we will take a look at things happening on the domestic scene. We'll give you a slice of wrestling. We'll also talk about para sport on the show. We will also attempt, of course, a review of what just went by, talking about the African Nations Cup qualifiers, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, finishing top of their group, blowing Sao Tome away. We'll talk about all of that even as we move on. And we'll also talk about some of the other things in the news. For instance, Paul Pogba is in the news. So we'll talk about all of that, all for you. It's a two-man show. My colleague, Austin Okona-Akpan, is suited and ready, and we're taking this trip together.
What a greetings to you, yeah. A shout out to everyone joining us on the show tonight. Still an action-packed world of sports. I just took a look at the lineup and I'm saying, yes, we are good to go. What a story. For wrestling in Nigeria, the level of consistency. They're getting ready for the World Championship. They should be on their way to Serbia. I spoke with the president. He said, look, they are determined to do well in Serbia because that World Championship serves as qualifiers for the Paris Olympics. So it's very, very crucial that they do well in that one. I also like the fact that I'll be giving attention to para sports, on the show tonight. We love it so much when we create that balance between what the able-bodied guys are doing and what, our para athletes are also doing. I don't like the story about Simona Halep. I'm just wondering what happened. She says she's going to, contest that decision at the Court of Arbitration for Sports. I just hope that she's got a case. And of course, every other thing going on in our world of sports, which includes the Super Eagles of Nigeria and that fantastic result they had over the weekend over Sao Tome and Principe. So I will say, what is fantastic about that? I said it on the show last week that if they don't win, we will be calling them out. So it was a good win for Nigeria, and we will celebrate it, Yemi.
All right, we will celebrate all of that. As we continue with the show, let's quickly introduce our partner in the Lagos studio. Kende Idris joins us now as we continue this trip. Kende, greetings to you. There's a lot to talk about, but you've listened to everything we've said. I mean, what's your top pick?
I think for me, there's maybe I'm somebody who loves the I would say not so flashy sports stories like the wrestling we have in the menu, like the para sport, quote and unquote. They don't get the limelight or they don't get the spotlight or the time like a football, basketball, athletics would get. So I'm always excited whenever I see it on the menu, get to open it up and let our viewer get to know what they are doing. And I think for me, para especially should be getting way more attention. We are doing our bit. Trust me, as sport journalists or sport reporters in Nigeria, we're doing our bit. But I think from the administrators angle, they should be getting more because they put smile on the nation's face like every other time. It always seems like they go out there and conquering is like a second skin to them. So they should get more attention. So I always love it when I see it on the menu.
All right. Kenny loves it. We love it. I'm very sure you love it as well. To set the ball rolling, let me yield to Austin. Talk about wrestling. Let's start from there. And, of course, he had a chat with the president of the federation and all of the things happening. So, Austin, talking about wrestling, what else can be said about this guy? Is always making us proud.
That's right. Whenever they get an opportunity to represent the country, they do it just right. And it's a clear testament of the sort of leadership that they have. When you have an Olympic gold medalist in Daniel Igali, who has been there, done that with the sports, and is also commissioner for sports in Bayelsa State. He's always supervising what these guys are doing. They are ready for the pre-Olympic tournament that will take place in Serbia. I think about 5 or 6 wrestlers will represent Nigeria at the championship. And with the level of preparation that they've gotten, the federation is confident that they will go to Serbia and give the country a good representation. Let's quickly take a listen to some of the talking points coming out of that preparation camp. And then Kende Idris will jump on it.
Well, the Nigeria Wrestling Federation has had our athletes in camp for the past 1 month in preparation for the World Wrestling Championships in Serbia, taking place from the 16th to the 22nd of September. We have 6 athletes that will be representing Nigeria, led by Olympic silver medalist Commonwealth Games champion, and 13-time African champion, Blessing Oborodudu. Odunwayo Adekoro, a 4-time world medalist and 7-time African champion. Mercy Genesis, a 3-time African champion, Commonwealth Games gold medalist. Anna Ruben, an African champion. There's a lot at stake because only the top 5 at the World Championships will qualify for the Olympics. So this is a major tournament for our team. Our hope is to qualify a few of them at the world level and get ready again for next year, March, to go to Egypt to qualify the rest of the athletes.
We all good to go and wrestle. Everybody have a chance to win in the World Championship. I pray that may God grant our effort with success in the World Championship. Yes, wrestling has improved for the past 3 or 4 years. From Adekoro winning in the World Championship, we have everybody want to win in the World Championship. And of course, me winning in the Olympics, everybody has the opportunity to win in the World Championship and the Olympics. So we keep training and everybody keep improving. By the special grace of God, we're going to celebrate in the World Championship again.
I'm fully set, ready to go and give out my best as usual. But I pray this time will be better than other time. And normally training is always kind of, not always, sometimes hard, sometimes a bit easy. But for the preparation and concerning the World Championship, it will be a bit hard for us so that we can go there and participate perfectly according to the expectation of everybody and to our own self too.
So I was started by listening to the president of the Nigeria Wrestling Federation, Daniel Igali. Then we heard from Commonwealth Games champion and Olympic silver medalist Blessing Oborodudu, and then Mercy Genesis. And it's good to see Mercy Genesis growing and Kehinde Idris. Daniel Igali mentioned that this championship in Serbia is crucial because only 5 will qualify for the pre-Olympic tournament. Are you confident that Nigerian wrestlers can do it?
Except if something funny gets to happen. They've done it. They seem like doing it is what the only thing they know how to do. Like I said, except if something funny happens. I think there is something about Nigerian wrestlers, especially the women. They've taken their act. They've taken the art also to a level where the confidence they take into every fight, even halfway, kills their opponent before the bout gets to start. And I think that's one thing they're also taking again into all of this. Look at every time I listen to Genesis, it's always very funny. She seemed very cheeky, very relaxed going into no matter how major the tournament is. And I think it helps her, achieve a lot. So you're looking at listening to Blessing, listening to Genesis, even listening to Daniel Igali, who takes part in almost all of their tryouts, their trainings, warm-ups and all of that. That's kind of person. They are always super confident. The only thing I'm wanting the Wrestling Federation to do now, yes, we've worked so hard on the women. I want to see the men also conquer at the same level. They're always seeming like the men are in the shadows of the women. I love it. I love it. I love women conquering and all of that. But the more the merrier. I think I want to see the men also take part in this at the highest level, qualify for the Olympics, for the World Championship. And Daniel has said it all. Aside it being Olympic qualifier, it's also the World Championship. You conquer here, the entire world is talking about it. So it's not just we in Nigeria seeing you, or we in Africa. Also, the entire world will be talking about, this wrestler. And I want them to do well, wishing them all the very best. The women have got massive confidence. It's just the men. I don't know what work they are putting in there, but I hope that they will do better this time around.
I think it's beyond wrestling, It's the system in Nigeria. Remember at the last Commonwealth Games, it was all women that won medals for Nigeria. And I think in the last 10 to 15 years, the women they've been the one always giving Nigeria good representation. That's why we must support them. We must treat them the same. In fact, treat them even better than how we treat the women. Let's get on with that, how we treat the men. Let's get on with the show now. And from the experience in Serbia, I go relish what someone is talking about from the Dubai experience. I mean, it's good to see para athletes talk about their experiences and what competing at international competitions can do for their career.
Yeah, and of course, in your picture, Esther Nwogu, just like Austin has said, reliving the experience she's had. And I mean, I'm so happy when I see things like this, just showing the power of sports and the intelligence some of these athletes have, the knowledge of the game and everything. And here she is saying her experience, that's Esther Nwogu, saying our experience at the World Powerlifting Championship in Dubai will be very beneficial going into next year's Paralympic Games in Paris. And of course, you already know she is a powerlifting world record holder. And that's very important. And 81 countries will be in attendance and over 500 athletes, will be at the event. And so she's been talking about her experience and also some of the things you see in your picture. There was a meeting with the Abia State governor where she also talked about how impressed she's been with the governor and also the things she hopes to achieve. Let's listen to her. We'll come back to talk some more on her experience.
The experience was top notch because it gives me the clue of what Paralympics next year is going to be. So after the fight, because when you are competing, you are fighting. After the fight, I got a lot of messages that I came home with, which means what I saw there gave me the clue that I have opponents who are fighting my record because presently I hold the world record. So it makes me to stand up and sit up also, come back to continue my training and know that truly Paris is not going to be easy. It was a warm welcome by the governor of Abia. Like I and my opponent, Onyechi Gift Mark. Onyechi Gift Mark won a gold medal and broke her record that she set and then set another one. Presently, both of us are world record holders. Presently, we are world record holders. So we going to the governor's house yesterday to be hosted by him. It was like a new chapter of our lives were opened because we were opportuned to meet a lot of people, the deputy governor, commissioners, the governor's wife, and a whole lot of persons were there to welcome us home. You know, it gives us hope that even in our condition, that people cares about us. The governor cares about us. For him to dine on the same table with us, it means that he is a governor who do not discriminate. And that gives us a lot, we persons, special persons, it gives us a lot of self belonging, sense of belonging, sorry. So we know that we are not alone in this journey, that the father of the state is with us.
As Esther Nwogu, sharing her experience in an exclusive interview with Channels Television in Abia State. Of course, she was referencing the events that she participated in that took place in Dubai. She won silver. Nigeria won 7 medals at that event. And I was also talking about 81 countries were in attendance and over 500 athletes participated in that. A lot to take from what she said, Kende, but I'm very happy with the exposure. Yeah. You said more should be done, but at least at this level, I'm very happy. And she talks about inclusiveness, sense of belonging, self-esteem, having people who have the power to make some of their dreams come true, sit down with them. It's very encouraging.
Yeah, very encouraging. There is the UEFA para footballers, championship. They got to the semi-final, the Arsenal team, and then all of the Arsenal senior team, the popular ones, all came to their training, and all of the players said something that with this, that the management, the players, everybody is coming to watch us, coming to train with us. I think this will take us all the way. And they went all the way. Now, there is something about these special athletes. It always feels like you're a bit off the, regular people. All you need is for somebody to remind you there is no difference. You all are together. And who are those that will remind you? Those people who seem like they're on the side of the normal people. And that is what we're saying. And that is what Esther just painted. The moment the governor dined with us on the table and all of that, now she will go out there, represent her state well, represent Nigeria well, represent Africa well, feeling like she is part of the whole picture. She is not out of the picture. And that's what we should all aim for, especially the way they continue to do well. When you do well, what do you get? You should get your flowers, you should get accolades. And you should let them understand for every time you go out there, understand that we are all together with you on this journey. And that is what, probably I would say Abia State or Nigeria just gave to these people. I want to see, more of that, where these athletes go out there not thinking of anything other than to conquer.
And if you're a good businessman, you will invest in the area where you seem to be getting more.
Simple.
And we seem to get more from the Paralympians, para sport. We seem to be getting more. With the little support they're getting, we seem to be getting more from them. I think we should invest more. And, allow them share the spotlight. Give them the accolades, just like Kehinde said, and look into their welfare. More can be done. But, of course, kudos to the Abia State Governor, Alex Oti, for all the things we've been reading about, hearing about, doing. And, of course, Esther spotlighting something he did recently. I'm very sure Austin has a thing or two to say about this as well. And, of course, from here, I can say it's encouraging. I hope to see more.
It is what it is, Yemi. And when people come to me and say, "Oh, Austin, you guys don't promote para sports. You guys don't talk about it the way you should," I tell them it's not Channels TV. You need to watch Sports Tonight, and you will see that we actually do talk about para sports. And I like the fact that Esther commended the governor. Shout out to Governor Alex Oti. He's been in the news for the right reasons, particularly with sports. So some governors or sports administrators in Nigeria, they think that it's until you announce houses for players or give them education scholarship and the likes, that's when you can host these guys. No. A competition that had 81 countries, over 500 athletes. Nigeria went there and won 7 medals. And we know they don't support para athletes the way they support other sports. The least you can do is what Governor Alex Oti has done. Call them, speak with them, have lunch with them, encourage them, show empathy, give them hope, give them support, tell them that you're proud of them. It goes a long way. Then we go back. Look at what Esther said, that the number one, the father of the state, showed inclusivity. And that's the message she's holding on to. She didn't say, oh, they gave her 10 plots of land somewhere in Umuahia, or they promised her family that they will be on salary for life. Nah, the little things count. And that's why I keep saying we should start doing the little things for sports development in Nigeria. So congratulations to the para team that went to the championship in Dubai, and of course, Abia State for honoring Esther Wogu. From Abia State to Katsina State, because this is Sports Tonight, we cover all the borders when talking about sports. Governor Diko Rada of Katsina State, he has unveiled the Katsina Football Academy. This is fantastic. This is going back to the basics. This is going back to the grassroots. This is building from the bottom to the top. And for them to have an academy now, it means they are thinking about young persons. So 70 young persons will get into this academy and learn football. Apparently, there's been a scouting program and they've discovered them. You know what? Let's listen to talking points from this unveiling of the Katsina State Football Academy, and then we'll talk some more.
Spoke about establishing a football academy to help our youth, not just within football, but also how can we use sports to change their mindsets in terms of helping them to become a role model in society, helping them to become the best entrepreneurs, the best teachers, the best scholars. Because one of the models that we use in the UK is we use sport to help young people into the field that they want to go into. That's the reason why we started.
I have asked the people who are in charge of the academy, and I know exactly where they are going and what is happening down here. It's going to be a very great opportunity for the youth here, because you can see even if you call of scouting programs sometime, you cannot see scouters coming down to Casina to scout for this kind of players. But with this kind of academy, with this kind of a program, you find out that players like us, we even have the director of sport NFF is here also to grace the occasion. We still have some foreign scouters that are coming to see. You can see what is happening. So everything is coming down here to them. So it's left for the youth to be able to do it. I think that I should recommend the governor of the state, the Mardi Korada, for giving the opportunity to these kids.
I passed through the ranks growing up. I played for youth club back then in Benin, and then before I rose to the stardom. So competitions like this, I don't joke with it. You know, I'm here not just for with the capacity of Eguavon alone, but as the technical director of Nigerian Football Federation today. When there is opportunity like this to scout players wherever they are in the world, I don't want to narrow it only to Nigeria. We must take the opportunity. So when I got there yesterday, what I saw is raw talent, and I think some of them can actually be molded into becoming finished products. And for the governor to endorse things like this, I think he's done very well. I think every other governor, major stakeholder should also key into stuff like this so that we give a nice pathway for these young ones coming up.
We talk about Casino state-sponsored football academy where talents are being discovered, and of course, Austin praising them to high heavens. And I join him in saying it's a good initiative. That's the way to go. And I mean, Kanye, we have to go beyond, and that's a problem here in this part of the world where we just see sports as leisure, philanthropy. Somebody just wakes up and sponsor a tournament. It doesn't end there.
Yeah.
It's very lucrative if you walk the channels very well, if you put the right structures. And I'm just hoping that the administrators, the people who have the means will listen and ensure that this untapped resource, we're making good use of it.
Yemi, so many times I hear people say they don't care as long as they are making money. And I ask a simple question. If you're a football administrator in Nigeria, can you boast of making more money than the Spanish FA person?
You're not even making, in comparison, you're not making anything.
That's what I'm saying. And they are doing plug and play. There is a template, there is a system
that works.
Whoever comes in, you don't need to adjust other than to make it better. You come in, just go seamlessly, and everybody's making a whole lot. It boils down to we, the journalists. If it gets better, we make better. That is what we're saying. And look at the initiatives like this are what gives birth to this kind of system. Now, the Katsina State governor is doing this, or the government of Katsina had done this. This would outlive him. Definitely, maybe he does 8 years, he's off that place, and that facility will be there forever, as long as they continue to maintain it. You do things systematically, and it pays off. You'll find children of your children of children, generations after generation benefiting from there, and you won't imagine.
And just to chip in something, because we have to move on, just to sum up what you have said, it makes success become predictable.
It makes it predictable. By next year, this will happen.
All right.
It will happen.
Okay, so we're still on the matter. It's time to talk about the Super Eagles now and the AFCON qualifiers as it is. Let me yield the floor to Austin. Let's talk about it. And of course, we're bringing in someone who will also share his thoughts with us on the qualifiers and the things that transpired over the weekend.
Yeah, the AFCON qualifiers got us talking over the weekend, Yemi, and as predicted, the Super Eagles of Nigeria got the fans in, singing, dancing, and loving good football. Victor Osimhen, continuing where he stopped at the last qualifiers, resounding 6-0 win over Sao Tome and Principe. As I said, it was so predicted. So at some point, I was like, do I really need to watch this? But yes, I've got a job to do on television. So yes, I did watch it. So the Super Eagles concluded that AFCON qualifiers on the high. They had already qualified before this one, but they sat on top of the Group A table with good 15 points. Guinea-Bissau doing just enough to win their second game, and then they finished second with 13 points. Talking about the group the Group A table. But let's get into the conversation proper. Shola Edegbele joins us on the show. He was here with us on Friday, and he gave us some good data and stats to work with. Let's confirm if he said the right things. Shola Edegbele is with me in London, United Kingdom. Shola, good to have you on Sports Tonight.
Hey there. Good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for having me on the show today.
Awesome. Nigeria 6, Sao Tome and Principe 0. Shola, you are a football data analyst and you told us some things. What else did the data reveal?
So before we played Sao Tome, we haven't scored 6 goals since 2012 when we played Liberia. So it's been a long time since we've seen these kind of scorelines, 10-0, 6-0. In the more recent years, Nigeria Super Eagles haven't been beating teams like this. So it's a really good performance.
So what are the positives we should take from this? I said the positives because people are playing down the opponent, and you've just said we've not seen them win big this way. Are there positives taking it out of the fact that it was just Sao Tome and Principe?
Yes, a lot of people say it's just Sao Tome. But when we look at the stats, Guinea-Bissau only beat them 1-0. Sierra Leone drew with them 2-2. We have to give credit where it's due. For us to beat them 10-0 and then 6-0, when the other teams couldn't do that, it says a lot about the progress that the team is making. We look at Victor Osimhen. He scored a hat-trick. So he's now scored 20 goals in 26 games. So he's on track to be the Super Eagles' record top goal scorer in the next 2 years. We see that the coach was able to blend the midfield and the strikers. In the previous call on Friday, I mentioned that we had a lot of forwards, but we saw that he was able to arrange the team in a way where they can play quick passing game. It was a very good performance.
Let me give it to you. I mean, I'm sure he's ready to get to the touch screen now and then bring us the Group A results. And I'm sure Kehinde Idris has also got things to say after that good win by the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I mean,
all right. I almost didn't want to stand up, but I have to. I mean, looking at these goals again, I think I like what Shola said. Look, let's not downplay the fact that we got 6 goals. The fact that we're able to get Kelechi Iheanacho, Taiwo Awoniyi, Osimhen on the field at the same time, which is something we've struggled to do. The fact that we didn't really play with somebody creative and, just flat midfield, two midfielders that are just like for like, and we're still able to get 6 goals. I think it's something. Let me just walk up to the screen and, take our viewers through what we have on the screen. We'll also quickly take a look at the teams that have qualified and look at it. So Group A results, there you have it. Nigeria beating Sao Tome and Principe 6-0, 6 unreplied goals. It does feel good talking about these things, really. It does feel good, I must say. 6-0, I say it again, 6-0. Nigeria up against Sao Tome and Principe. Guinea-Bissau edge pass Sierra Leone 2-1. On the strength of that, these two teams already booked their place. It was a matter of who was going to end on top. And on the strength of that game, Nigeria finishing on top of that group. After 6 matches, winning 5, drawing 1, 15 points is what we ended up with. Guinea-Bissau also booking their place at the Cup of Nations next year, and ending up with 13 points from 6 matches. Sierra Leone and Sao Tome, Principe, in that order, finishing 3rd and 4th, respectively. Let's see if we can quickly throw this in, a list of the teams that have qualified. So we just put it there. Cote d'Ivoire will be the hosts. Morocco, Algeria, South Africa, Senegal, Burkina Faso, Tunisia, Egypt, the teams that have qualified. Zambia, Equatorial Guinea, Nigeria, Guinea-Bissau, Cape Verde, Mali, Guinea, Ghana. These are the qualified teams. Angola, Tanzania, Mozambique, DR Congo, Mauritania, and Gambia are qualifying for next year's Nations Cup, the expanded one. Of course, we know in the last 2 editions, it's now 24 teams. Kind of just, we'll go back to London. Let's just talk about it. It's easy to downplay that it was Sao Tome. We have to put that in perspective. But then again, the fact that we realize that our strength is our attack, and whatever formations we use, we have to put those boys on the field.
We have to, and we have to find a way to use them to be as potent as possible.
Whichever way.
I think in the case of the Super Eagles today,
the composition of that team.
Yes, today is that saying that the best form of defense is attack. And I think any coach who comes in to the Super Eagles now, it's Jose Peseiro, I don't know what would happen tomorrow, but as long as he's still the coach, any other coach handling the Super Eagles, understand that these boys, you must use them as potent as possible. So you reduce what happens to the defense. In the case where we feel our defense is not as good. Then another thing I've told people after this game, I said sometimes when you expect Yemi to beat Shola and Yemi beat Shola, you should honor and congratulate Yemi.
Because if he was
if
reversed,
we had gone the other way,
we'll be
it
here.
will be a case of man biting dog. It will become story everywhere.
It's true.
But you're saying a dog should bite a man, a dog bites a man. You're saying it's just, no. We should also kudos to who we expect to do something. And they did. Like, I said it on the platform. I said, I want anything from 11-0. Because away, neutral ground, it was 10. So at home, I wanted 11. But I saw 6-0. I'm saying, you said something. Having Ademola Lookman on the score sheet, Chukwueze on the score sheet, Taiwo Awoniyi on the score sheet, having Victor Osimhen do what Victor had done everywhere in the world, then also having Einacho assist, having Ndidi play the way he did. I think we should look at probably individuals, the composure, the way the output was, whether it's against Sao Tome or anybody, and kudos this team.
All right.
They did well.
They did well. All right, let me throw one in before I yield back to Austin. Shola, I know you're still with us. There are questions left unanswered. While we enjoy the victory, a lot of people are talking about the goalkeeping department. Are we assured now? The defense, are we assured now? The fact that the nearest we have to a creative midfielder is Alex Iwobi, and that's still worrying, if that's all we have. How about those issues?
Yeah, so I'll start with the creative midfield. In the game against Sao Tome, we saw Iheanacho play in the position that we have not seen since 2013 at the Under-17 World Cup, where he won Most Valuable Player. I personally believe that's his most best position. It allows him to be creative and get those assists that we saw against Sao Tome. I think what Peseiro is doing with Lookman and Iheanacho on the wings and then instructing them to drift into the middle is similar to what we see with Foden and Grealish at Manchester City. So it looks like Peseiro has an answer for that. In regards to the goalkeeper department, unfortunately, our goalkeeper wasn't tested. So that's still a question mark going into the World Cup qualifiers in November and AFCON in January. We still need some good quality friendlies and fixtures to really test our three goalkeepers that are called up. In regards to defense, I believe it was mentioned earlier that the best form of defending is attack. And me personally, I agree with that. I think with the forwards that we have, we should focus on a high pressing game and defend from the front. The defense will be protected by the high pressing game. In previous games that we've seen in recent years, we've seen the big players not tracking back. We've seen the big players, not showing urgency against Sao Tome. Even though we had already qualified, we saw Victor Osimhen tracking back. We saw Awoniyi trying to die on the pitch to win the ball back. These small changes make a huge difference to the whole structure of the team. And lastly, in terms of creativity, one thing that we see the big nations like England and France, Germany and Brazil do is they capitalize on their set pieces. Before the game against Sao Tome, Nigeria hadn't scored a set piece since 2019 against South Africa. And I think that's unacceptable for a national team. It's good to see that we're scoring from set pieces now. The corners look like they've been rehearsed. It looks like the boys are undergoing training. I think we're definitely heading in the right direction.
I like that. I like that you mentioned that these little changes, they are very, very important. And Shola, when you were analyzing the data and bringing out the facts from this match against Sao Tome and Principe, who are you giving the credit? The coaching crew or the players?
I think it has to be the coaching crew here. Because we already knew before the game started, we all said it on the call on Friday, we knew we were going to win. It was more so, how were we going to win? You know, psychologically, what did Pesiro say to Victor Osimhen to make him want to track back, to make him want to press in a game where we had already qualified? So the kudos has to go to the coach to be able to motivate and inspire these footballers in a game that was essentially a dead rubber game. But for me, it's the coach and his ability to find that creative function. Because a lot of people say since JJ Kocha has left, we've struggled to find that creative number 10. Pesiro showed us that we don't necessarily need a number 10. We can utilize the whole team and get goals and assists from numerous sources. I prefer that rather than relying on one person to do the whole creative work. So I'm definitely seeing these little changes and the impact they will have on the team. We look like we're in good hands.
It looks so too. Shala, thank you so much for your time on the program. We'll get you talking again when we've got more data to analyze as regards the Super Eagles or anything football. Thank you, Shala Edegbele, for your time on the show tonight.
Thank you.
Awesome. That's it. Football data analyst Shala speaking to us right here in London, United Kingdom. Let me take you to Kehinde Idris. Kehinde Idris, the little changes. Do they excite you also?
Yeah. I'm excited. Like the Einacho angle, I think like so many Nigerians, we've started to question what he brings to the table. We start to question, is it necessary to bring? Sometimes Einacho looks careless. It looks like he's unperturbed. Whatever happens, he doesn't care and all of that. But this game showed, still we'll go back to, is it Sao Tome and Principe? But this game showed there is another angle to Iheanacho where it can be super creative. And I think sometimes that is the job of a coach. Discover something else in these players, help them get to that role, and the entire, probably in this case, a country will start to love them. And Iheanacho didn't get a goal, but he got into good conversations after the game. Then also, we're talking backtracking of big players like Osimhen. Is a big export for the club, the country as it stands. But you saw how urgent it took things urgently, Taiwo Awoniyi and all of that. And this, tweaks here and there, I think is what we would need. Mindset sometimes also helps, take you far in championships or even go ahead to win championships. It's not about the skill you bring or what you can do. Sometimes if the mindset has been tuned into, we can win, we should win, we should do this, I think sometimes it helps collectively, a team. And I saw all of those boys showing us signs that they want to play for each other and do well for the country.
All right, we could go on and on talking about the Super Eagles. It was a win that was pleasant to see, and we're looking forward to the big tests later on in the year, and of course, when we get to the Nations Cup. All right, let's switch gears now and talk about the ladies. What's kept secret, really? The fate of Randy Waldron. Will he go? Will he stay? But now it's in the news that the Nigeria Football Federation has mandated a technical committee to discuss with Randy Waldron. I'm going to keep my thoughts to myself, but let me, Kehinde Idris, your thoughts without leading you in any direction. I mean, does that give us a direction of where things currently stand?
I think this is like calling Randy back. Because it seemed like he's gone already. There are some parts of...
In fact, as a part of the section of the media that went to town that he's been sacked.
There are some parts of the board that had even said,
he's toast.
He's gone. We wish him all the best and all of that. So this is like saying, okay, maybe that window that he does not have another job for now, we can still speak to him. I'm wondering what you want to table to Randy Waldron. Are you willing to tell the man a leopard is ready now to change his sports? Are you ready to do things the way it should be done? Salaries, allowances, the way you treat each and everybody.
The same things he complained about.
Going to the World Cup, he said some coaching, in short, almost every country came with about 25-man coaching crew. Their health, physio, all of these things. That Nigeria went with 10.
You know,
So, these angles, are you ready to
let
table
me
them?
bring Austin into this. I'm trying not to give my opinion on this. Austin, your thoughts on this? Do you think something happened behind the scene? Maybe a higher power leaning on the guys, maybe?
No, I don't think so. Success has got loads of friends, me. Before the World Cup, this man was good as gone. And then Nigeria and the Super Falcons did what they did at the World Cup, and everyone, his enemies became friends, his critics became fans, and it rubbed off. That's what I'm just saying in this life. Just win. Try to win. So Coach Wandy Wardrum, now the NFF, they're taking a look at with everything that the Super Falcons did at the World Cup. Why should we let go of this man and bring someone else that will start building again? Maybe one or two persons at the top would have said, well, you don't have a point. If you chase this man now, critics will come after you. And trust me, Nigerian football fans will come after the NFF if they sack Coach Randy Wardrum. So, that's basically what happened. Success has a lot of friends. So, Coach Randy Wardrum should be thanking his stars. I was part of those who criticized him for a lot of reasons. But leading my criticism was the fact that he showed at the last Africa Women's Cup of Nations that he didn't know his players. Yeah. And he played some qualifiers, some friendly matches that also showed that he was clueless. Then came the pre-World Cup drama of the back and forth with the NFF, which I thought was so unprofessional and that such a man shouldn't be holding a leadership position. And then the World Cup came. Canada, Olympic champions, couldn't beat Nigeria. Australia, favorites and co-host, lost to the Super Falcons 3-2. Ireland, rated and ranked better than the Super Falcons, couldn't beat Nigeria. England, Euro champions, and went all the way to the final, struggled, and had to win their penalties. There's no way you're going to sack such a coach, and that's what has happened to Coach Randy Wardrum.
All right. We could go on and on. Before we go, let's quickly talk about Paul Pogba. Kede Idris has some unpleasant things to say. I won't let him say it on air. But Paul Pogba in the news, violations, doping rule violation, and it looks like it's going to be hit heavily.
It looks like that. 2 to 4 years is on the plate. I'm hoping.
Is there any way out of this?
I don't know. Some things just have a one-way route, but their investigations can come out and say, okay, this is, for some reasons, is let off the hook. But I was just saying, in the last 3 years, it's not been so nice for Paul Pogba. I don't know what's happening. Maybe he needs a sabbatical one way or the other. But this case...
Obviously, the witch doctor didn't help.
It didn't help at all, like zero. I don't know how he's going to get off this. But if he does, I'm sure there should be a family meeting or a country's meeting on Paul Pogba. How do we help you going
How do we
forward?
help you going
This
forward?
man needs something
He needs help.
to get off what's happening.
Oh, no, definitely. And even his representatives, I've been talking, that he didn't willingly break the rules. A lot is going to happen. But Austin is close to the scene of all of this. Paul Pogba, is there any way out of this, really?
I don't see any way out of it. His agent, Rafaela Pimenta, I listened to her. She's saying that she's waiting for a second sample. We know the story. If the first sample is true, 90% of the time, the second sample will be the same. It's quite unfortunate. It was even an unused substitute at the day that he was picked randomly for that test. And I'm saying, how random was that test? Someone probably snitched on Pogba. Someone maybe knew he was doing that and said, go and test him, because he didn't even get to play. Unfortunately, we have to go. And it's not just Pogba who is on the news. Simona Halep, two-time Grand Slam champion. And she's also been handed a 4-year provisional ban. And then the tennis anti-doping team says she intentionally broke the rules. That's the show. In London, I'm Austin Okonak. And in everything you do, remember, let's keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, tough times for Simona Halep. Used to be a big fan, but it is what it is. Kennedy Idris, I want to thank you for your time on the show. We'll continue with this conversation out of the studio.
Of course. Also sad, Simona Halep, one of ladies loved in tennis. So good to be here always on Tuesday. I will take the conversation.
All right, that's the show today. We do hope you've enjoyed everything. We'll see you again tomorrow. I'm Amy Adebayo. Bye-bye.